Thank God the Pistons are having a decent season this year because I've been hurt ever since that Detroit Lions loss. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I've kind of been holding back on making the Detroit Lions videos. But today, free agency is about to start coming next week. They just re-signed Derrick Barnes to a 3-year, $25.5 million deal, which I'm not upset about. That's a player that when he is healthy, I'm curious to see how he's going to perform when he comes back from that injury last year. But Derrick Barnes, when he is healthy, he produces on the field. He's got a really good relationship with Kelvin Shepherd. I think that's part of the reason why we re-signed him and why he had interest in coming back, because Kelvin Shepherd is our defensive coordinator, and Kelvin Shepherd's been the linebacker coach for the last few seasons. But that's a big piece, and we were really missing Derrick Barnes towards the end of the season last year. When the linebackers, when we were putting out Quan Alexander out there, we could have really used Derrick Barnes last year. And Derrick Barnes, he had that interception against Tampa Bay in the divisional round 2 years ago and sent us the NFC Championship. So Derrick Barnes, he's a Detroit Lion. Hopefully he spends his whole career here as a Detroit Lion, because he's someone that, whether we like to admit it or not, lives in Detroit Lions history. But what I've been frustrated about with this offseason, seeing headlines, is all the people coming after Brad Holmes because he hasn't made any big splash moves right now. How about we relax and take a minute to take a step back and realize that half our defense was hurt last year, and that's not any GM's fault. You had 13, 12 people on your defense on the IR, and some of those people were fourth and fifth string, and we still went 15-2. So anyone questioning Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes of why they're not re-signing some player, why they're not being so aggressive of going to get this player right now, just give it some time and see how the offseason unfolds before we start questioning, why isn't Brad Holmes doing this? Why isn't Brad Holmes doing this? This is the first move the Detroit Lions have made, and that's re-signing a key player to your defense, and Derrick Barnes to a 3-year, $25.5 million deal. Only $16 million of it is guaranteed. So I'm all for keeping Derrick Barnes, but there are some speculation that even though Cleveland's GM has came out and said that they're not interested in trading away Myles Garrett, I don't think that really means anything, because how many times have you heard a GM say we're not trading this player and then they ended up getting traded? Look at Jimmy Butler. Look at all the saga in the NBA. I'm not comparing the NBA to the NFL, but sometimes it's very similar. Myles Garrett has the cards, and the Detroit Lions were the most aggressive of going after Myles Garrett at the trade deadline, and now there's a report that the Detroit Lions are still aggressive in going after Myles Garrett. So we'll see if we ended up landing Myles Garrett. Who knows what we would have to give up. But right now, I'm not really... The way I view it, this may be a stupid way of viewing it, but J.J. Watt, when he was in Houston, he would win Defensive Player of the Year. Every single year, it felt like he was dominant. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the best careers from a defensive end. But did that win them anything? They were continuously getting bounced in the first round. So my theory is, why do we want to salvage the future to go get yourself a pass rusher? I don't think that's our biggest need. Yes, do I think we need more depth behind Aiden Hutchinson and Zadarius Smith? 100%. We can't put out Al-Quadin Muhammad, even though he balled out for us towards the end of the season. But we need players like, if Trey Hendrickson, if all they're asking for from Cincinnati is a late second-round pick, go get Trey Hendrickson. But the only dilemma is, if you go get Trey Hendrickson, then you're going to have to sign Trey Hendrickson to a long-term deal, and that's going to prevent you from getting Jamison a long-term deal, Aiden Hutchinson a long-term deal, all these guys that are coming up. So these are the dilemmas that Brad Holmes has to face right now. Do we go salvage the future? Do we have to go get rid of some players to go get better on the defensive line? Right now, I don't really want to do that, because to me, that doesn't necessarily always mean winning championships. Look at TJ Watt in Pittsburgh. Look at Khalil Mack. People have always salvaged the future for going to get yourself a premier pass rusher, and it does not always translate to winning. So that's just my theory about it. But if the price is right and we can go get these guys, and we're not salvaging, if we're not giving up players like Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Myles Garrett, like I've seen some of these crazy hypothetical trades, I'm all for it. But right now, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Joey Bosa just got released by the Los Angeles Chargers. He'd be a nice solid piece to come on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. Anything that we can get a healthy pass rusher, not someone like Marcus Davenport. Don't go sign someone that's been injury prone. Let's get solid pieces that have been known to play throughout the season. Look what the Pistons did. They didn't get veterans that just sit out every once in a while. They got veterans that play all the time, like Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been out for personal reasons, but who knows? Hopefully he's getting all right there soon. But that's what the Lions need to do. Brad Holmes needs to switch that up a little bit, so we're not dealing with the issue that we had to deal with last season. Some top free agents that I would like us to go after: Milton Williams from the Philadelphia Eagles, Josh Sweat, Shardavius Ward, Darius Slay, Dre Green, Greenlaw, Nick Bolton, Hassan Reddick, Khalil Mack, Darius Slay. And if we want to be really spicy to add more weapons on the offensive side of the ball, I wouldn't mind going to get Amari Cooper to put him where Tim Patrick was last year, or Devontae Adams, if the price is right. But right now, I think the Lions are sitting in a good position. They just re-signed Derrick Barnes. Let's give Brad Holmes some time before we start freaking out on him. And let's see how this offseason goes, man. I'm excited. This is a big offseason. The Lions got their new defensive coordinator and they got their new offensive coordinator. It's time to start rolling. It's time to get some players in here that will lead us to our ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about the Derrick Barnes signing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps this channel grow. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Lions.